Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah. I'm our head of customer success here at Breakthrough. I am going to be presenting on what we're really seeing as effective in the digital marketing strategic market today for private practice. For those of you that have been in it for a long time, you'll probably aware it has changed quite a bit. And so I want to bring to you what we're seeing as far as trends, not only from customer data, but also doing that deep research for you all broadly and giving you some best practices. Just to be clear, Dee, should I be sharing my screen here? Oh, no, you got it. All right. So one of the first things here, you're probably all seeing it too. We're in a digital first world now. Patients, 81% of them want a seamless digital experience. They do not want to have to call. They want to be able to solve everything via text, your website, easy booking links, forms, etc., so that they can just keep going with their day or maybe even be multitasking. You're always still going to have those patients, though, that want to call in, have that personal connection, and they're still important, right? That's still 20% of the people out there still want that as well, but it's really important to have a seamless way to indoctrinate someone, not from just the awareness, but all the way into your clinic and booking that first appointment. So going into the next slide here, there are 4 pillars that are best to lean into going into 2025 and how you're going to be able to scale your marketing programs. One is strategic investment, reactivation and retention. Once you have someone bought in, you want to make sure that they stay a patient for life. Hyper personalization, leaning into personal touches at scale and with AI and automation to be able to do that. For strategic investment, so a lot of practices, they spend 7x more on PPC than SEO. What is PPC? That's pay-per-click. That can mean Google Ads, that can mean Meta, that can mean any other channel that you're advertising on where you're paying to show up there. But what we see there and the benefit there is these are lower cost channels and they're high volume. So it builds a ton of awareness. However, over time, if you have a hybrid strategy and you're also investing in high quality website, searchability, all of your ideal location settings, you're going to get higher conversion and more immediate booking from those people. So it's important that we lean into both and you invest in both, as one's going to give you that instant gratification, and then on the other hand, you're going to get that longer term return. So in 2025, we pulled some research. Over 400 different practices were interviewed, and 45% of clinics are focused on getting new patients, but struggling with that, where to put your dollars and where to maximize budget. 1 in every 2 practice owners are using online ads and digital efforts as that top new customer source. And so what are the alternatives, right? There are alternatives like direct mail, word of mouth, in-person events that you just use flyers for, et cetera. So how else are you getting in front of people? 1 in every 2 clinics using online efforts. Going into this next year, as you can see, 1 in every 2 people is planning to increase their investment on search or social media. So what does that mean? That is going to drive some more competition. And it's not just the clinic down the street. This competition, if everyone is planning to increase, is going to mean other types of businesses also in your advertising space. So it's really important to be very strategic. And so looking at the social media and channels, so you can go to the next slide, D, here. Thank you. Health and fitness category on Meta. Meta categorizes all businesses, and then it will bring in different types of results. It will show to different types of people based on how your business is categorized. And what we get categorized into is health and fitness. A lot of us out there could argue that's not really accurate. Unfortunately, Meta decides those buckets. But the other one that it could be would be healthcare, and that would have us competing more with physicians, doctors' offices, et cetera. Whereas health and fitness is going to be more in that preventative category. And so what you see on Meta, the average cost to acquire a lead right now is $28 compared to Google search, where it's on average $70. So it's definitely a lower cost place to get in front of people and get people to fill out your forms and come into your contact list. It has a conversion rate of 8.7%. We like to see a higher to 10% is what we're after. So what this really says is it's really important if we're converting 8% of the people that see our ads that you have the best offer, the most interesting ad copy. You have a high quality ad that is really speaking to who you are as a business and showcasing why your value is worth them giving your information for. And then cost per click too. It is a lot lower than other channels. So video ads and educational content are really, really great on Meta advertising. So then here at Breakthrough, one of the things we do that is really effective with a social channel that's education forward, because we are trying to get in front of these people before they're searching. If you think about Google search, someone is typing in a keyword, right? They're already aware of something that they're looking for. When you're on social media advertising, people are scrolling and you show up in front of them. So when we're hosting workshops and we advertise for workshops as that first educational piece to build someone to be aware of your clinic and come in, we focus on different conditions and pain types. And so in just the last year so far, we're not even all the way down to 2025, we have our top 5 performing workshops here at Breakthrough with the customers that have worked with us. And what we're seeing is rotator cuff. This tends to be the best performing condition. One thing I like to have people keep in mind is just because we are reaching the audience with saying, are you experiencing rotator cuff and shoulder pain? I'm sure a lot of you have had that experience where someone comes in and says they have shoulder pain, but you get a chance to work with them and see that actually it is a back issue or it might be a neck issue. So it's a very general pain that, again, gets people through the door. And that's our goal, is get people through the door, because once they get that one-on-one conversation, that's where you're turning people into that plan of care. And that's where they get to see the quality of the care that you're there to deliver. Pelvic floor, we introduced this funnel, I would want to say about a year and a half ago, and it has just been crushing it as well too. You see that 10% of leads, like 1 in every 10 people, is turning into an initial evaluation and then into that plan of care. So there's definitely a lot of need in the market. It's a condition that we were finding the audience doesn't speak about. And so by putting an ad out there and saying, hey, we're hosting a workshop to help our community, they feel like they have a chance to come in and be heard. And then going to our next slide here, we also have some data on workshop dates. So we always get asked, what's the best day and time to host these? What we find is you're going to see a pattern here of during the middle of the week and in the evenings. The reason being, we want people who also are able to wrap up work and come to you. We find some clinics have tested things like midday and weekends. And if that's when your audience is most available, especially if you're after a retired or more available audience, that works great. But a lot of times you're also still trying to get people who have daytime, full-time jobs, and we want to get them to have a chance to come in. And so here you can see what I consider success is not just the most registrations. I consider success to be, are these people actually coming? And so you'll see we have an interesting attendance rate here with Tuesdays at 4 p.m. is working really well. We've got 20% of the people that register actually come in to the workshop. And then Tuesdays, just in general, tend to be that best day. That being said, everyone knows the community better than we do. And sometimes, say your clinic is based in Los Angeles, you probably need a later time so that people can get through traffic. Or if your clinic is located somewhere super central, you can do something earlier in the evening because it's easier to get to. Or maybe you want to move it up earlier in the winter before the roads get bad and slippery at night. So there's a lot of strategic decisions that need to be made as well too. And then also to answer your question, Stephen, the funnel rotator cuff, we generally say shoulder pain. We try to stay away from clinical language because not everyone knows what a rotator cuff is. So again, you want to be thinking about who are we speaking to, and they might not be able to articulate exactly what they're experiencing. But we say rotator cuff and shoulder pain. But again, it's all about making sure that we're using terminology that people understand. So moving forward here, one of the things that is working great on social media nowadays is video ads. I can even say for myself, it's easy to be pretty adverse to wanting to film yourself and know it's out there on a social platform. But when we film a custom video ad, like this example here with Proof PT, we saw the CPL decrease by 50%. CPL means cost per lead. So that means we're getting twice as many leads for the same amount of money with this video ad. And it's very simple. It's a very nice, just clear, clean video. And then they panned through their clinic to showcase what a beautiful state-of-the-art clinic they have too. And then they get this additional social proof of these amazing comments that came from people that actually were already patients, but look at how they're actually helping with the perception and the quality of this ad. So even your past patients are giving you that word of mouth in a social proof and public way. And so video also allows you to hyper personalize more and send out a really personal message to your community. Another funnel that we're seeing work really well, cash pay funnels, right? One thing that one of our partners, Andy at Whitby, he said it really well, where a lot of what you all do is an AR business because you're waiting to have those reimbursements come in to be paid. So using cash as a means to get more instantaneous revenue coming in while you're also hosting those workshops and getting those longer term plans of care. Layering that in is a really, really effective growth strategy. And what we're seeing with the Shockwave is it's getting very low cost per evaluations, and it's getting people through the door. So they might be interested in the technology. And then at that point, it's giving you an opportunity again to talk to this patient and build a longer term care plan. Reactivation and retention. So another one that's just as important as the cold lead market. You don't want people that are just one and done with your clinic. You want to build those lifetime patients. You want to build those people that are commenting on your ads and speaking to how great your care is. A recent report showed that actually reactivation success rate, it goes down over 2 years, as you can see here to the graph on the left. You want to be trying to reach back out to these patients within 3 to 6 months of them finishing their care. A lot of people will leave those reactivation lists untouched because you don't want to spam people. You want to remain top of mind. It's really important. And so that's what we're going to talk about next, some of our best performing campaigns. And I want to make sure I get to that in time. So moving forward here, again, with hyper-personalization, reactivation, this graph to the left is showing open rates of text versus email. Text message marketing is the new way to get in front of people as fast as possible. It's a direct response method as well, too. And if you lean into this, it can feel much more personal. It can start a conversation with someone, and it shows that you care about them. Email is still an effective channel, but you want to diversify and also be really strategic with each campaign you schedule. So going to this next slide here, I've laid out what planning your reactivation campaigns can and should look like. What I tell everybody when they ask us, have a human approach. We're not going to want you to spam your list either, right? People that are unsubscribing means you can't reach them again until they actively resubscribe. So what you want to do is you want to rotate themes. If you just sent the same offer over and over and over every month, yeah, you are going to have people complaining to you. However, if you put in a rotation of what we call goodwill, you're giving a health tip, a seasonal wellness advice, exercises, sending thank you notes. If you do that 1 month, then you layer in direct response, an appointment reminder saying we haven't seen you in a while, an open question, what we call a single question campaign. And then the next month after that, more of a promotion. Hey, we have a voucher for a Shockwave appointment if you'd like to come in, or it's coming up on Christmas time. And for those of you that have experienced our dry needling services, we're running a special offer, something like that, right? So if you rotate between those three, one a month, you just booked out 3 months of your reactivation campaigns via email. Do that 3 more times, you've got your whole year planned out. With text, you want to keep those super warm, helpful, conversational. I'm sure you all have seen those text messages that have all the emojis and promotions, and you can just tell that it's just a blast. What we see work really well, get 10x the response, is keeping it open-ended and it being short and friendly. Because again, think about who you're reaching out to. You're reaching out to someone who previously had a personal connection with you and one of your clinicians, and they helped them heal. So if you then send them something that's looks like a lot of those other I mean, my dog daycare is the one I think of, unfortunately, but they send all of these dog emojis and saying we're running this thing off of daycare, et cetera. And it's like, okay, you don't really care who I am. So there's this adverse feeling of we don't want to send text. We don't want to have to reply to all of it. But if you treat them like a human and you reach out to that human that you had that connection with, you're going to see much better reactivation and response rates. And so for my last minute, I want to show you some of our top performing reactivation campaigns here. This is looking year to date again across our customer data. One of the best general offers we have is what we call a GPE, or a greatest promotion ever. It is to your past patient list saying, hey, we're hosting a day of free screens. That can be for various reasons. It could be your anniversary of your practice. Maybe it's your 20-year practice anniversary. A lot of clinics have sent this out for October being National Physical Therapy Month is a great time to do it. You could do it right before the holidays or right before a slow season. But if you send it to your past patient list, they appreciate that you're offering that free screen to come in and check in on them. And it gets really high open rates and very low unsubscribe rates, because again, they're going to say, appreciate that. And if they don't need it, they typically are going to ignore it rather than unsubscribe. Our best direct response campaign is a single question shoulder pain campaign. And again, it is literally just that. It's not this big long sequence. You're not sending all these messages to someone. You are literally saying, hey, contact first name. We haven't seen you in a while. Are you experiencing any shoulder pain, or do you know anyone that is? And so we see 1 in every 2 people are opening that, and a 6% reply rate. Very, very high if you're sending that to a very large list. And again, very low unsubscribe rates. All of these are below 1%. The average of an unsubscribe rate of what's still considered good is 2%. Goodwill, knee pain. A lot of people really love the exercises for knee pain. I think it's something that they see as you giving something back to them, something they see as being able to do at home. We also see still replies from these as well too. And again, you can see that's a very, very low unsubscribe rate. So these are our top 4 campaigns. And if you were to, again, schedule something very similar, here's a whole 4 months of campaigns that someone can send and ready to go. So it can be daunting, but if you just follow a simple rotation order, you can very easily get your campaigns all scheduled out. Chad and Dee, I know I'm at time, so I was going to stop here and make sure if there's any other pressing questions, I get those answered too.
All right, let me take a look at the chat. I don't know if you have any recommendations for apps to make, or software to make videos that look professional.
Yeah, I agree with the chat here where truly an iPhone does work fine. Just go somewhere with natural lighting. As you saw in that example, I think they were just standing outside their building. I also highly recommend that if you use an iPhone, because then you're going to film it in the framing that is required nowadays for Reels to actually look like it's part of one of those social media Reels. And then after that, Canva is a really easy tool to edit videos in. And then you can create templates where you just drop it in there every single time.
All right, thanks, Sarah.
Sure thing.
How about some love for Sarah in the webinar chat for putting this together?
Yeah, and thank you, everyone. Reach out to me anytime, too, if you have any other questions. I love this stuff. I had 5 more slides. I could keep going through it.
Thanks, Sarah.